explaining it's pretty long. But I'm expecting, just because it's based on more on explanations, because this kind of portion, we're not looking at how the payroll process works, how we pay our employees. This is just setting it up.
Setting it up, right.
So, as you guys read, there's a lot of steps that are involved in order to set it up. So, that's why I'm kind of saying, well, today it should be a short day. I'm expecting maybe at least maximum 2 hours through time out of the four. And if we include break and just the 30 minutes that we just took away now, 3 hours, give or take. So you may end up leaving the class an hour early, which is it's fine with me. I'm okay with that. You guys are okay with that?
Oh, yeah. This gives me more time to go over what we've gone over before.
Exactly. So this, again, is just setting up the payroll process. Okay? And that's about it. So if you go ahead and go on to page 292, I would like for you guys to make sure that before even starting up your payroll process, you need to go ahead and look at all of these 10 steps before even considering your payroll, before setting up your payroll. Hold on one second. All right? Because these 10 items is pretty much going to help you, guide you towards how to even set up your payroll setup. So, obviously, first things first is you need to determine one thing and one thing only. Are you going to have employees in your company? And if you say yes, then this is where this whole spiel is going to happen, okay? If you say no and you're just going to have a bunch of independent contractors work for you, then you don't need this at all, because payroll is strictly only for employees and employees only, okay? So in this case, we say yes to employees, right? Academy Photography has 2 employees. We got Mike Mazowski, and we have another one that we're going to talk about later.
Okay.
I believe her name is Caitlin Reynolds, Katie Reynolds, something like that. But yes, okay. So we do have employees, and we need to determine these steps here. Number 1, we need to collect all their information about every single employee, right? We've gone through this before. You need to collect a W-4 form from them, which allows them to let us know how much tax to withhold, but it also allows them to let us know that how much they're claiming. But on there, it gives us their social security number. You need to do a background check. You need to do a lot of things. You need their address, right, in case you need to mail out their paychecks. You need to gather all of that information before even doing anything at all. And we looked at a W-4 form, right? It gives you your name, gives you your contact information. It also gives you your social security number on there, right? That is a standard thing, because the number one thing that we need the social security number for is so that we can properly file the taxes for you. Okay? And then number 2 is to activate the payroll function. So setting it up is the step number 3. You're going to have to set up all the accounts. You're going to set up all of the items, right? But even with that, when we set up our items, we need to determine another key factor here too. What kind of benefits am I going to allow to let my employees have, right? So you can choose anything that you want, and then step number 5 is you're gonna go through the payroll setup interview.
Glenn, I don't know if it's that you're cutting.
I'm cutting in and out.
Yeah, a lot. So, I mean, right now I can kind of figure out what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
You're going right along.
Okay.
We're cutting out a lot.
Okay. On my side, you are too. So it could be the internet right now.
Maybe so, because I hear you fine. I hear Lynn fine also. I mean, Lee fine also.
Okay.
Okay, so
Um,
maybe it's me.
I don't know, but if worst case scenario, if you would like, again, I'm recording this, so this will help you in the long run to rewatch this video.
Okay.
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 All right. So step number 4 is to do the interview process. Step number 5 is to do the interview process, which this is what we're going to be doing today. Is step number 5. Okay. Um, we're going to enter in all the employees' information, and we're going to use we're going to set up how we normally have our payroll to be at. Okay, so any additional payroll items. Okay, other than that, there's 10 steps because it's chapter 10. That's how I remember it. 10 steps for chapter 10. Okay. Again, we're only going to stop at step number 5 for today. Now, other things that you want to do is when you're even considering setting up payroll, right? You need to think about what you offer to your employees. That's very important, right? You need to also set aside, are you going to have salary employees or are you going to have hourly wage employees? Other things that you need to consider is what is your payroll period going to look like, right? Are you going to do it are you going to pay them every day? Or are you going to pay them every week? Or most cases, you're either biweekly or semi-monthly. So you get either 2 paychecks a month or you get paid every 2 weeks. Okay, the difference there is if you get paid twice a week, we get that extra 2 paychecks in there for 20. So we get a total of 26 paychecks because of those odd months that has it has 5 weeks instead of 4. But if you do a semi-monthly, meaning twice a month, then you're going to get either paid on the 15th or the 30th. Typically, most companies are either or, but if you work for like a company like Uber, for instance, right? They allow you to cash out at the end of the day, so you can get paid at the end of the day. All right, so it's just really dependent on your company, but most often, most companies they do tend to pay every either 2 weeks or twice a month. Now, another thing that you also need to consider too is how often do you, or sorry, well, not what is, how often do you need to pay your payroll tax liabilities, right? And we looked into a little bit of that. I believe it's part of your book as well. On the on how often you need to pay your liabilities to. Most brand new companies, they need to pay within either every 6 months or every quarterly or every other month. Now, depending in your book, QuickBooks does kind of give you a standpoint on how corporations operate more so than actual small businesses. For corporations or bigger businesses, they have to usually pay, if they set up a payroll period, they have to pay within 2 weeks of their payroll statement. Meaning 2 weeks after they've already released their payroll, they have to pay the taxes the same month. Or if they're in the middle of the month, they have to pay the month after. So, I mean, that's what QuickBooks says. But, honestly, it's based on your company. If you're a brand spanking new company, I know for sure they give you leniency on that because they don't know how many employees you have, right? They expect you to report that to the IRS. So, or they also require you to report that to the Nevada Employment Department as well. Okay, so there's a few places that you need to report. Again, doing a background check, and by determining that, you can expect if you only have one employee, then you're obviously not going to collect so much tax from that just one employee. Where if you have 100 employees, well, yeah, you're going to have a lot of tax to be collected, and the government is going to want that money because that's right there, easy money to collect right then and there. Where a small business that only has a few employees, your $100 is not going to make a difference to me. Where, you know what I mean? So it's going to be dependent on how large your company is and how many employees that you have. But for this case, your book says that it's supposed to be within the same um, month. So before we even start setting up our payroll, number one thing that we need to have is our payroll accounts. Okay, so in this case, we need to have a place where we have our company payroll taxes. We also need to have our employee payroll taxes and other things that such as we need to also have payroll expense. Okay, so I'm going to go to my chart of accounts and I'm just going to verify that I have anything that has to do with payroll. I'm just going to type in payroll. And I'm just going to verify my accounts that I have them and that they exist, okay? You need to create an account so you can distribute your money where they need to go to, especially if you're collecting tax for the government from your employee's paycheck. You need a safe place to put it, okay? So that's why you need to create these accounts. So here I have my salaries and wages expense, also known as employees expenses. So they're just regular things, okay? So as far as this payroll expense, they don't use salaries and wages payable. They just use payroll expense. But that's okay. We again, whoever the accountant is, however they want to organize their information, what account names to use, it's based on that. But as long as you have the number one thing is how are you going to pay your employees? You need to have them as an expense. Okay? All right. The next thing is that we need to consider is going to be creating payroll items. Now, here I went to regular items, right? No. You do not go to regular items for this. You actually have to go to a specific list here. And if I go into no, I don't want to. No, I don't want to exit. Here there's a specific account. There's a specific list. If I were to pull my list and I go down and read it, I do actually have an existing one called payroll items. Okay. So not from your items list, but your payroll items. All right. I don't think there's anything if we go to the regular items. Understanding chapter 7, there is no item in there that is for like federal tax or for payroll, like you know what I mean. So that's why they created a separate list for your payroll taxes to be taken out of or deductions. Okay, so this right here, it's going to include whatever benefit that you provide for your employee, right? Any benefit, any deductions. So this is where meals and things can apply. Let's say you have a 401k, you can go ahead and create it and place it here. You could do your Medicaid. Medicaid is here as well as your federal withholdings, right? And your Social Security. So these are all the federal ones. But let's say you are creating any pensions or any stock, if you do stock options or any kind of benefit that you provide your employee, you go ahead and list those items here. So then when we do actually pay our employees, which we'll see tomorrow, that's where you'll understand where these items are coming from, and they're coming from your payroll items, right? This is where you're separating it because ultimately if you're taking money out of their paycheck, you need a place to put it. And here these are the items, so you can list them by the specific items, the things that you are offering your employee. Okay, And then we'll take a look at that too, because when we do the payroll interview setup, we're going to be looking at how we can actually create these items. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my home page, and I'm going to let you know this. In order to do payroll, all right, wait for this to pop up. In order to do payroll, you are required to have a subscription to a payroll process. Now, here in the QuickBooks 2019, there are two things I'm going to be looking at, either the enhanced or the assisted, okay? Or I can do, there's one more, the basic one, right? But in your book, you actually have a list of different things that you can choose from. I believe you have the it's not enhanced, you have assisted, and you have, let me see, it's at the end of here. When you set up for your payroll to have QuickBooks do the payroll for you. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart right now. I can't remember, but you have three of them. You have three.
Basic, enhanced, and full service.
Okay, full service is it. You don't have what I have, which is called assisted. So thank you for that, Andrea. So you, in your book, 2018, you only have the basic, enhanced, and full service. In mine, I only have the basic, enhanced, and assisted. Okay? And this is what happens when you're trying to look into payroll, right? Again, QuickBooks, right? The whole purpose of using QuickBooks isn't for you to do payroll. Okay? It's a complete separate thing that QuickBooks can use the information that you provide to be able to calculate those kind of things. So let me go ahead and go back to the top so we can continue. So yes, our QuickBooks, the whole purpose of it is to help you record, right? But Intuit, which is the owner of QuickBooks, has created other programs or other services that complement QuickBooks. So for example, this is one of those services. If you need someone to help you process payroll, here you go. We have a plan for you to, if you'd like to choose to have Intuit handle your payroll process, you may do so. I know that if you go to any bank out there, they do have a payroll processing, because at the bank, right, not only do you need to bring all the information there, they have they have the actual bank, checks that a lot of you know how employees, right, they get a check, and there's just like, it has their pay stubs on top, and then it has a physical check that you can deposit to the bank. They have that kind of paper, the special paper. They have the special ink. So all you need to do is just pay the bank the service, and they can print it out for you. Yes.
We used Intuit. We had Intuit for a while.
Yeah. So yes, again, the bank can do it too. Intuit just makes it all easy and convenient for you, because you already have all the information here in your QuickBooks. All you need to do is just, if you pay for this Intuit service, all it's going to do is it's just going to extract the data that they need. They're going to process the federal taxes for you, and everything is going to be done for you. And they mail you your paychecks to send out to your employees.
Mm-hmm.
So that is that, and so it, of course, it's not free, so you need to pay for it. But yes, so that's what happens, and we'll look into it when we go into when we dive into the payroll process tomorrow. So in this case, when we open up our file, what's gonna happen is it's gonna tell us that this is a sample file, and that it is from directly when we used Intuit as a service to do payroll. So they give us a little sample just to see what it does and what it looks like. But in this case, we're just only setting up payroll for now. All right. I'm going to go ahead and show you the employee center. So again, it's going to look a lot different when we go into the second chapter, but same thing, it looks familiar, just like our vendor and our customer center, except there's a few things that are different. You don't have new transactions, you don't have any of those. You only have manage employees, right? Enter new employee, and that's it. You can pay them as well. Print a list and you can pay them as well. And here's going to be the list of all of your employees. So again, we'll talk about in that when we do our payroll process, because with our payroll process, you're gonna have the little section where you can enter in your employees. Now, you don't need to enter all your employees using the payroll setup, because once you've done the payroll setup, that's it. You can't go back to it. Just like the Easy Step interview. Once you've done the interview, you cannot go back to it. So that's why we have the new employees option right here for you to enter in your employees. But let's go ahead and do this. So, in order to set up your payroll when we set up our employee setup or our payroll setup, you're going to go into your employees menu bar, and here you're going to select payroll setup. All right? You cannot do it on your home page. You cannot do it in your employee center. You need to go to the menu bar and click payroll setup. So once I've done that, as you can see, all right, as you can see, my QuickBooks is loading in all the things I need to be loading in for. And I'm going to get this window here. Now, this is going to be your payroll setup interview. Okay? And as you can see, this little section here is going to be these little tabs here on the left is basically going to be anything that you need to go back for, or even or things that just looking at your progress as is. Okay, no, I don't want to deal with this right now. Okay, so I'm going to start from the very beginning. Okay, so there are exactly about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that you're going to be looking at. You're going to be looking at company setup, right? So how are you going to set up your company to be able to do your things? Like, for example, this is where it's going to ask you, what do you provide? How are you going to provide it? Are they salary or are they wages, right? Any benefits? So that's the company setup section. The next section is going to be the employee setup. The employee setup is basically you're going to type in and fill out each employee that you have into your thing. And then taxes. Taxes, this is where we're going to be involving our federal income tax withholdings. So which ones are mandatory to have, which is going to be our FICA, which is our Medicaid and our Social Security. We need to make sure that we set up those accounts. And then year to end payroll is basically anything that you have to wrap up as far as maybe making payments. And then lastly, finishing up is pretty straightforward. You're going to be finishing up what's left for the payroll. Now again, these don't be fooled by the 5 things that you see here, because each one is going to expand to 10 more questions based on the things that you choose. Yes. So let's go ahead and let's get started with this payroll interview. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm at the very beginning of my payroll setup, and I'm going to go ahead and click continue. So now, first thing I'm gonna do is company setup. So basically, this is where you're gonna be actually setting up what um, payroll items you're gonna be using your um, for your company. So in this case, it's gonna ask you: are you gonna have hourly? Are you gonna have double time? Are you gonna have overtime? And do you have salary? In this case, I believe your book says that we're actually going to eliminate some of these things because some of these things we do not offer. I believe we do not offer a bonus, and we do not do over. I think we do not do double time. We only have hourly and salary, and let's go ahead and confirm that in the book. So here we're here at our thing here. So here it gives us a list of what our items are. Are we going to do this? Are we deleting this item? So here it says right here, default item name is going to be double time. We're gonna delete this item so we don't have double time. Hourly, we're gonna keep it. We're gonna change it to hourly regular. All right. And then overtime, we're deleting this. Salary, it's going to be salary regular, and bonus is going to be bonus. So we're keeping our bonuses. Okay. So, well, let's going back to this little interview. If you select the item, right? If we go down to the little bottom lower right, we have options to either add, or we can edit, or we can delete. And in this case, double time, we don't offer that, so we're going to delete it. All right, and it's going to say, are you sure you want to delete this? And you say yes. Okay, so hourly, right, we need to change the name. So we're going to go edit, and then you're going to get this little pop-up window here. This is going to allow you to edit the title of it, or even just edit the title itself. So here we want this to display hourly regular. Okay. And then anything else, is it an expense? Yes, it is. What is kind of expense is it? It's a payroll expense. So I'm going to go ahead and click finish. And then now it's going to update that to hourly regular. And as you can see, there it is. It's hourly regular. Okay. Overtime, we established that we're not going to have overtime. So yes. We're going to have to change our salary to salary regular. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and do this. It's a payroll expense. Okay. Good. So I'm going to go ahead and finish. Bonus is going to be bonus. So great. Now, these are the things that are going to be what I normally encounter or my first thing that I'm going to encounter. This has nothing to do with my benefits. This is how I'm going to pay my employees. I'm either going to pay them hourly or I'm going to pay them salary. Other things I can also include here is, let's say I do have a employee, right? So I'm going to add a new item in here. And the title of this item is going to be, is it going to be a salary, hourly, or is it a bonus? And I'm going to say it's none of those. But however, I'm going to say I allow commissions. So if someone really likes this person, they can work based on commissions. And I'm going to go ahead and click finish. So here it's going to ask me, how do I'm going to be doing this? It's going to be dollar amount in units sold. Or how am I going to do it? Am I going to do a percentage of the sales? In this case, I'm going to say I'll give them based on percentage of sales. Sounds nice. Or actually, I can give them a flat dollar rate. Depending on, for example, I'm going to say, if you can get this many customers, I will give you money for that, for every customer that you do. So that's what my commissions will be based on. And then the next thing is it's gonna pop up right here, and there it is. Now I can go ahead and click commissions, and I can edit it however I like. All right. And then here it just gives me a description of how I'm going to be doing this. And again, I can determine how my commissions is going to be, right? But that's just setting up a payroll item, and it's still going to be a payroll expense. But yes, and then I'm going to click finish. So I'm not going to change anything there. All right, and it's going to be based on that. Okay, next. So there I added a payroll item. I've deleted my payroll items, and I've modified my payroll items. So I have a hourly regular, salaries regular, I have a bonus, and I also provide commissions, right? So that is the very first step. And I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Now the next part is going to be looking at whether, let me see, whether I do paid time off. Okay, so this is a decision that your company has to make. Do you offer your employees paid time off, sick time? Okay, so here is this window right here. And if you do, then that's great. If you don't, that's also great too. So here it's just asking you basically, what does your company provide? Do you provide health insurance? Yes or no, right? Do you provide dental insurance? That's very important because these ultimately become these are things that get taken away from your paycheck, right? If you have to pay in for a separate insurance. Now, oftentimes there are scenarios where if your company does offer health insurance or do offer these things, it could be either they pay half and you pay the other half, or they pay 75% and you pay 25%, or they could cover you 100%. All you need to do is just pay the deduction every time you go to the office. There are many different ways on how your company can provide health care for you. But for most I've seen so far, I've never seen a company that do provide health insurance and you have to pocket it out 100%. I've never seen that. Okay. But just if you want to, you could provide health insurance. You can provide dental insurance. You can also provide vision insurance. Okay. All of these are going to be extra deductions from your paycheck, right? Not everything is free. It's going to come out of your paycheck or come out of something from you, okay? Other things that you could have is if you have life, okay, health savings account, anything like that, any other medical care insurance, anything like that. And in this case, I don't provide any of it except for I guess I don't provide any health insurance. I'm going to choose that, make that decision. I do not provide it. And I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Okay, so here I don't provide any health insurance, so I don't have anything there. Again, that's a deduction to from a paycheck. If you like to, I believe, I don't, yes. So again, you could also determine, do they pay half of it? Do you pay half of it? Does the employee have to pay a portion of it? In this case, I'm not going to provide it. My company is too small.
Pools, at your job. If you join the pool, you get a lower rate.
Yes, but in this case, we're that's a little advanced in this kind of scenario. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue. So now I'm on the next section here, which allows me to have any any retirement benefit plans moving forth? Do I offer my employees 401k, right? Do I have a simple IRA, right? An IRA. I don't know what a 403b is. I've never heard of that. The more common ones are IRAs or 401ks, but I've never heard of a 403. Or yeah, so I have no idea what a 408k plan is either. Okay, nor do I know what a 457b plan is. But I do encourage you, if you do provide those kind of things, look it up. I don't have a clue what those are. Again, the ones that are more commonly that you would normally see would be an IRA or a 401k. So if you do plan on going into business, maybe it'd be a great idea to check up upon what kind of retirement benefits these things are for your employees. And in this case, I am a starter up company. I cannot afford a 401k plan. So I'm going to go ahead and click finish. I don't offer it at all. Next. All right. So the next section here is going to be allowing you to either do sick time off or paid time off, paid vacation. Do you offer these to your employees? So right now I currently have selected my employees do not get paid time off. But in this case, you know what? I'll be nice. I'll let you have paid no, I don't want paid vacation. I think just paying them for sick time would be okay. All right, especially because I do have one that's going to be working and answering the phone. Since I only have that one person, you know what? I'll be generous and I will give that person paid sick time off. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and finish. So by me creating this right here, it's going to automatically come here to say, oh, is it for a salary person or is it for a hourly person? Now, I am going to delete hourly because I don't think if people are on the clock, I don't believe that they should get sick time off. People who are salary, right? It doesn't matter whether you come into the office or not. If you don't come into the office, I'm going to allow you to have sick time off. So, but not to the person that's doing an hourly, right? If you just don't come into the office, then you don't clock in your hours. But for salary, yes, I will allow that. Okay. Continue. All right. So now here is the next section. You see how this is getting tedious? So now the next section is do you provide any fringe benefits? So what a fringe benefit is let's say you since we're using academy photography, right? A fringe benefit would be considered a deduction from your paycheck. So it's kind of like you pay into these extra benefits that we provide. By you paying into this membership or this kind of the fringe benefits, what happens is I can get you season tickets to this game. I can get you tickets, passes to go into the next gallery art show. So you can go ahead and take a photo there. Things like that, right? That's considered a fringe benefit, right? It's a benefit that most companies can provide their employees because, hey, you work for this company, I'm going to let you get season tickets as long as you, pay a little portion to that fringe benefit. Okay? So that means I can another one example is if you choose to go and stay at another state or another location because you're on vacation, we might be able to give you benefits for hotels, like hotel discounts, right? Discounts to tickets to a theme park. Anything that you consider as a deduction or a discount for being an employee, that's considered a fringe benefit. Okay? So that is what that is. And then you can also even get mileage, right? So for jobs that entail, you have to drive to this location, we can reimburse you for that. And that's considered a mileage benefit right there, right? That we can, as long as you keep the receipts and you give it back to us, we can reimburse you for that, and we can give you if you pay into it, we can give you free mileages up to this point. You know what I mean? All right, and then any miscellaneous additions. So in this case, I'm not going to have that. Um, so there's do you pay into union dues? So this is probably where you're looking at, Andrea, where you have a pool. So that's considered union. So if you do have a union, yes, you can, and you can place that there. But other than that, do you have donations to charities? So if you are donating, then yes. But in this case, I don't provide any of that. Sorry. Finish and oh, come on. Don't freeze on me. Come on. There you go. All right. So here I don't offer any other extra additional deductions, not even mileage. I'm sorry. You're going to have to pay for the mileage yourself because I'm already giving you enough money, right, for your service. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue. So now that was just completing section 1. And can you tell me how long did it for us to get through it? And that was only section 1. And I'm telling you, one piece of the section is already 10 questions in on its own. So you want to definitely, if you do offer these things, obviously, and you've already come prepared, then check marking what you need is going to be fairly easy. But in this case, I have to explain what you want to have and what you can have and where you need to go place them. So now this is going to be the employee setup. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the book because there is a section that I would need you guys to help me read, which is going to be dealing with entering a brand new employee. So let's find that page where we can find our employee setup. Okay, so here's the 401k. We don't offer that. Okay. I might have skipped it by accident. Yeah, I think I skipped it.
304. You said it?
You said 304?
I think, yeah, setting up employees starts at 303, and then 304 is where it's showing the diagram.
303. Okay, this is the employee setup. Good. So the person that I want to set up is going to be Miss Katie Reynolds, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see, salary, vacation. Oh, no, that's salary.
Yes.
Katie Reynolds. Okay, so I would need your help to help me fill out her information. Okay, so.
I'll get my magnifying glass.
All right. So let's go ahead and set up our employee. So continue. All right. So here I'm at my employees, and I need to have their employee, their social security number, a little summary of them. So here you go. The very first thing that pops up is let's enter in all the information for this employee. So this first name is going to be Katie. Is it K
KACI.
Kati? Oop, I'm in caps.
Oh.
Katie. Perfect. Last name. Does she have a middle initial?
No.
No, there's nothing there.
Okay, Reynolds. R
REYNOLDS.
ENOLDS. Okay, good. Reynolds. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then make sure that this name is the same exact that's going to be printed on the check. So,
Right.
Katie Reynolds is there. Okay. Now, what kind of when did she start on this date? Is she active or is she just inactive? In this case, she's active.
Yes.
Okay, because she's been working with us for quite some time. Now it's going to ask for her contact information. So what is her address here?
It's 432 ENOS Lane.
432.
2. ENOS Lane. LANE.
Perfect. What city?
And that's Danville. And that's CA for California.
Oh, yep, California. CCCA, California. Oh, that's Georgia.
Yeah. And then that's 94501. That's zip code.
94501.
Yes.
Okay, good. Next. Okay, so what kind of employee is she?
This is regular.
She's just a regular employee. That's right. Okay, what's her social security number?
333224321.
333224321. All right. And then when did we hire her? Okay, this you don't need to be super specific on, okay? Because your company could have existed before you had QuickBooks. So you could say whatever date that you hired her on. In this case, I'm going to say I hired her on January, all right, 3rd of 2018, right? Right before we started all of these things, okay?
Okay.
Any release dates? Does she have a last day? Now, don't put this in here unless you're potentially planning to fire her. But no, you don't need a release date. Okay. All right. What about her birthday? This is for again, this is just to make sure that she's one of age to work. Okay, this isn't for her to celebrate her birthday, but it is to make sure that she's the legal age of work of to work, right? Which is 16 and above, I believe is the legal age to work. So what's her birthday?
1/31/1972.
1972. Good. Gender, it's clear that she's female. Now, for those who are gender neutral, unfortunately, you don't have those options. You can only choose female or male. Okay, and next. Okay, so the next section here is how often do you pay Katie? Okay, and this is where we're going to decide: are we going to pay her every week, every other week, every twice a month, every month, every year, or every 3 months? Oh man, that must be rough.
Yeah.
Or are we gonna pay her every as needed, which is you could do every day. Okay,
Oh,
in
you
this,
can do every day?
yeah, of course you could pay her. You could pay her every day. No, but in this case, I'm gonna say since she's salary based, I'm gonna pay her every 2 weeks. Usually bi-weekly is the standard one, but I believe she gets paid every 15 and 30 days. So she might be every twice. She gets every twice.
Twice a month is what the book says.
Yes, every twice a month. She's gonna get paid on the 15th and the 30th, and we establish she is salary. Okay.
She's got a good pay also.
Yes, she does. And then let's go. Does she allow? Do we allow her to get commissions? Yes, she's gonna be the one that's gonna be working the telephones. Okay, so salary amount. So how much is it?
60,000.
I know that's a nice figure for a small
Yes,
academy,
nice.
and this is per year, obviously. Um,
Yes.
and yep, we allow her to have commissions, so she has that there. Um, okay. Okay, so now we can go ahead and click next. Come on, click next. There you go. Okay. This always makes me worry because I'm just like, oh, I hate it when the internet crashes on you and all your stuff just yeah. QuickBooks, yeah. The great thing about QuickBooks is it will save everything online, but once the internet cuts out, that's it.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
Okay.
Okay, so I go ahead and click verify. So here is going to be Katie Reynolds earns, okay, an hour per year. Okay, this is where we go ahead and put 60,000 a year. Okay. What does that say? Unused sick pay. What do we do with unused sick pay? Do we pay for it or do we have and do we have an actual limit on how many days she could take sick?
It hasn't. Oh, it says maximum hours 200. Oh, yeah, 200 hours.
So we have a limit,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And it's going to be maximum 200 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
That must be nice.
Wow, wow.
We're way too generous with this one. Um
Yeah, I want to work for this company.
All right. And then Katie Reynolds date was earns. Does she earn time off currently? No, she doesn't. No time off.
Yeah, it doesn't say. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I'm
So
gonna
it's
put
no.
no. I'm gonna put no time off. Okay.
Now, is that talking about for holidays and everything too?
Well, salary it doesn't really matter if you have holidays or
Yeah,
not.
that's true. Right. That's true.
You're still gonna get paid no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, it says when do I want it? When does her sick days start? Well, of course, since no, I'm gonna say a year later, because she needs to work for the company a year later before we can actually give her the sick time off. So I'm gonna say 2019. You're able to get sick time off. All right, so that's just setting those dates up. So, for this example, like often a lot of companies they do that, right? If you've dedicated your time or you've shown that you're loyal to the company, they start to give you benefits without you even asking. Like for example, right? You've been working at this company for a year. I'm gonna allow you to claim sick pay. I'm gonna allow you to claim vacation days. Because like oftentimes you don't know what the motive of that employee is, right? If they could be here just to make temporary money and then leave you for 3 months later, and you've given all these benefits to them, they might leave you. But because we're giving such great money and great deals, man, I wouldn't want to leave this company.
Right.
But yeah, for those instances, so that's why usually typically they won't allow it until like a year that you've worked because you need to prove that you loyal. But if you also for those companies, right, if you're paying salary, right, and you keep calling sick off all the time, they're not gonna give you any other benefits after that. They might revoke your contract and be like, you don't even, I'm not gonna pay you at all. You've taken way too many sick times. Okay. So I'm gonna click next. All right, so there we go. We set up our employee. Last thing it's going to be asking is, pay Katie Reynolds by direct deposit, or are we going to pay her via check? In this case, if we do pay her direct deposit, we need to get her bank information so we can do that. So yes, you can use Intuit to, if you're using them as a payroll system, you can enter in so they can have direct deposit. But in this case, no, I'm not going to allow that. I'm going to have physical checks being printed out, so I'm going to go ahead and click next.
Okay.
So here,
What page are you on? I seem to have lost you.
Yeah, we were on 305 on the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't know because I'm not following the book right now.
Oh,
I'm just
you're not.
following through the interview process. So,
Well, you were like going right in the order.
Yeah, it was in the order. No,
Yeah.
it's not.
And then now I'm looking for the direct. I mean, all it says at the bottom of 305 is enter the click
Yeah,
next to skip. Oh, to skip the direct deposit. Okay, the book skipped it.
okay, okay.
Yeah, that's why we're not seeing it.
That's
Okay.
why we can't find it.
Yeah, because I'm looking
Couldn't
all over
remember
for direct
reading that.
deposit.
I mean, yeah, so that's exactly what I did. I pretty much skipped it because there
Okay.
is no skip button. There's only next button. But the book did. So here's the direct
Yeah, I was
deposit.
starting to think that's something else I don't remember reading.
Yeah, because
You
I was
know.
going to say, wait a minute, I don't see that, and I can't find it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is part of the process, right? So it tells you to skip
Yeah.
it, and I'm just saying, as a perspective as an employer, if you do choose to do direct deposit, here it is. You need to, but the thing you need to do is you need to gather the employee's bank information for you to do direct deposit. But in this case, like I said, I make the executive decision. I'm going to say no direct deposits. I'm
Yeah.
going to pay by cash. By check, whatever it is. Okay. Next. Now I'm on this page here, still on the same one, but now I'm going to be looking in. Oh, I'm actually completely done with it. Now it's going to be dealing with the taxes that are going to be involved for this, for Katie. Okay. So in this case, this location is actually in California. Okay. And then the state subject to unemployment, okay, it's still California. Okay, no matter where it is, even if you're doing the withholdings, it's California. If it's the for unemployment, it's going to be California. And then while working for you in 2020, did Katie Reynolds live or worked in another state? No. Okay. So yes, you can still get paid if you're working out of state. You know, there are rules and policies against that. Again, if you do have a potential employee that is working for you that doesn't live in the state that they're working in, then you need to fix these because they're gonna get taxed for whatever state that they live in. Okay, so you have to be very careful. So, did she work for you? Because if she did work for you, but she doesn't live in California, then you need to change these because again, they may work for you, but because they're going to be filing taxes in California, they need to pay for California tax. Okay, next. So then here is going to be to enter in the federal tax information for Katie Reynolds. So in this case, we're going to be filling out her status. Okay, her status is going to be, is she single? Is she married? What is she? In this case, I think she's married. Okay, she's married. That means, is she going to be filing together with her husband? Then yes, that's what it would be for. All right, next one is allowances. So this is where we're going to be using your W-4 to fill out this particular thing, because the W-4 is going to tell you how many allowances does Katie is going to withhold. Since she's married, does she have children? Is she going to claim those children? All right, and in this case, does she have any allowances?
It says 2.
She has 2 allowances, whether they're kids, dependents, or whether she claimed herself, or she claimed that she's married. We don't know because we don't have her W-4 form.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes.
Lee, what page are you on?
306.
Oh, okay. I just turned to it. Okay, because I couldn't see where that was at. I was still lost. Okay.
Step number
Okay.
9, right in
Oh.
the middle.
Oh, okay. Great. Thanks.
Okay. So these again, we wouldn't know until until the employee provides the W-4 form, which allows you to give you all the necessary things that they're claiming as a withholding, right? So she has a total of 2 allowances. Now, with that could mean she either claimed herself, she either claimed that she's filing together with her husband, she can claim that she has 2 children, she can claim that she is the head of the household. There's a lot of things that you can claim that's considered an allowance. We can't make an assumption that just because she has 2 of them, that doesn't mean she has just 2 children. 2 children. It could be for any other allowances that she's claiming for. In this case, again, this comes from the W-4 form. So she has 2. And what about any extra withholdings? So, extra withholdings can come into play if you own a home, if you, I forgot what the other rules are, but if you own a home is definitely one of them. Okay, that's considered another extra withholding / deduction to your paycheck. And in this case, do we have any extra withholdings?
No.
No. All right. Now, other questions is going to be, okay, non-current alien, what does that say, withholdings? Is she an alien? Does she not, does this apply to her? Basically this is asking is she a citizen or is she working under a visa? And in this case, that doesn't apply, because I think we're making the assumption she is American or has a U.S. citizenship. All right. Higher Act, what does that say? Exemptions?
I can't make that word out.
I can't either, but does it apply?
It's not a qualified employee.
Not a qualified employee. Okay, good. So withholdings and credits. All right. Is it subject to Medicare and Medicare employee? I have no idea what that says.
Yeah.
Whatever that stands for, tax.
So all of these three things, are they going to be subject to include into this the employee's tax? Yes, all 3. Perfect. Again, these things, it depends on your person, but right here, does the federal income state, oh my gosh, does this employee with their withholdings, are they subject to Social Security? Yes. Are they subject to federal unemployment? Yes. Okay. So these 2 are make sense, right? These things are definitely deductions that we have to take off of Katie Reynolds. All right, we're almost done, guys. Okay, so now it's to enter the state tax information for Katie Reynolds. So again, we already claimed that she's California. Okay, we know that she's
2 allowances.
2 allowances. Yes. And regular withholdings is 2 allowances. Estimated deductions. Does she have any other extra deductions?
Well, filing status is married.
Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot she's married. I keep thinking she's
Yeah.
single.
Married.
Two
Something in
incomes.
parentheses. Yeah.
Okay. Any extra deductions? And we know that there's no extra withholdings.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and put 0. All right. Now we're answering that. So then, when she is subject to pay for California tax, right? What they can do to file hers, because it's going to be separate, right? There's a completely separate thing that you've got to do when you're paying for the state, right? If the state is eligible for unemployment, then you pay for it, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here, enter in additional state tax information for Katie Reynolds. Okay, so is she subject to California employment training tax?
It
Yes.
has. Yeah. She is.
Is she subject to California disability? Yes, of
Mm-hmm.
course. When you're paying into your taxes, that's what you're paying into. You're paying in for the extra things. So unemployment, unemployment, that's where the training comes from. Disability, that's already given because you're paying to society for every other individual American out there.
Right.
Okay, is this employee subject to any social was that special local taxes? Okay,
No.
no. Okay, all we know is that she's subject to California, and whatever California's going to be charging them, that's all she's subject for.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now you saw me click that button. Why is it not working? There you go. Okay, so lastly, setting up wage plans information for Katie Reynolds. Oh my gosh. So here we're gonna select California wages. So what are we gonna be putting here? What is she? I believe she's S.
Yes.
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 She's going to be state plan. Okay. And basically this is going to be the wage plan code, and it's going to be for California, for the state. Okay. Now we finished with one employee.
Quick finished.
Yes. Now we're gonna fit. No, yeah, we're gonna be done with her. Again, you can enter in a brand new employee as you go on forth and so on forth. But in this case, we're gonna be continued. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a stop here and take a break.
Okay.
So right
Yeah.
now it is
Yes.
2:40. I told you.